Hey guys, it's Adrian from SAanatomy.com. Welcome to this crash course, ZBrushCore Mini. It's basically a free software by Pixelogic, and it's like the first time I also opened it. So it was released, I believe, like last year, 2020. So as like an open source for basically for beginners and stuff. But then I just decided let me just open it with you guys and let's see how we can push it to the limit over here. So okay, without any further ado, just gonna walk through the interface. There's nothing much in anyway, so it's basically these features which they've given us over here. A few brushes. I see there's a poly paint also over here. So honestly speaking, this is my first time opening it, but then we're gonna come up with something over here. Hopefully this is gonna be like an anatomy study, as always. So we're gonna try push it to the extents. So first things first, on your top left corner over here, show. So if you're a beginner or you even know ZBrush or anything, I think you can also follow along, because after we've done the walk through the interface, the UI, the settings and so forth, we are gonna tackle probably like the upper limb or the human arm flexed, I don't know, but then we'll do some anatomy study as always. So first things first, on my left top corner over here, as you can see on the cursor, so there's this folder box over here. So the first one, it's like if you like hover over the buttons, it kind of tells you what this does. So it's kind of self-explanatory, and if you hold on command or control on your keyboard, you can actually see the actual details. So like the file open button will open the and previously saved projects will be saved, everything, and presented in your document. So like previously, you couldn't open up ZBrushCore Mini project files and in ZBrushCore and in ZBrush. So it was kind of hard to switch from ZBrushCore Mini to the big brother ZBrush and stuff. But then now it's possible for you guys to save. So yeah, basically if you click open, you can open your previous project. Let me just close it, and then the second one is to save your project. So the shortcut is Control or Command S, and the shortcut to open your project is Control or Command O. Second one is basically it's like a shortcut. If you want to start from a sphere, you can choose this option over here. So it creates a new sphere mesh for sculpting. And then the next one we have, the next option we've got over here, it's it looks like a cylinder and stuff, like a cube. So they call it you create a new stone mesh for sculpting. Looks like a stone mesh. Sounds good. And then next we have activate symmetry. So basically symmetry, if you look on your mesh over here, when I kind of hover over here, you can see like there's a second dot following wherever I go. So that's basically symmetry. So if I do any action on the other side, and then it's gonna affect the other side also. So in some cases you don't want symmetry, but then it's better to stick with symmetry sometimes. But then when you kind of studying, like if you're doing like a mesh that is of like you want to pose your character or anything you want to do, you want to turn this off, then this comes in handy there. And then next we have our draw size. Basically this controls the size of the brush. So if I turn this up, you can kind of see this yellow, this orange circle going big and small. basically that controls your draw size and so forth. And then next, our Z intensity. This slider controls the how hard your brush it's gonna be. So the lower the value over here, the lesser the pressure when you start sculpting on your sphere. And then next, the second option, we have low, mid and high. So basically the low reduces the mesh's polygons to 150k polygons. I believe that's not too low, but then it kind of works. So if you click the button, it will just tell you mesh polygons count is already lower than 150k. And then if you choose, so it depends how much of polygons you need. So it's always advisable, like when you're starting with something, just stay as low res as possible until you figure out those forms, your primary shapes, your secondary details and so forth. And then mid and high, self-explanatory. So if you want to increase your polygon count, you can just switch from mid, medium, and then take high. And then underneath over here, it kind of shows you also the active polygons, so the polygon counts you have on your mesh, which is quite handy. And then next, we have export image. So let's say you're happy with this, which I'm not sure you're happy with this, but then let's say you're very excited about this, so you can just export and then you can choose which file format. So it kind of gives you these options are quite good because there's JPEG, PSD, PNG, BMP, TIFF. These are normally, these file formats are we normally use these file formats anyway, so they kind of work. So let's say you're happy with your image, so it basically saves the image, so that the image in the canvas, and then you can just click save if you're happy with that. Next, we have export for 3D printing. This is kind of self-explanatory, so it's only going to export, I believe, in OBJ format. So I think they haven't introduced our STL and WRL file formats, but then hopefully in the future. But if you have like OBJ, I don't think it's that necessary to have these other file formats as a beginner, because this is for beginners anyway. And last time I checked, this software, it's for personal use, so then you can't even use it for your work and stuff. So if you're gonna be doing like any 3D printing and stuff, it's just gonna be for you and no one else. And the next option, you have visit ZBrush Central. I'm sure you know about ZBrush Central. It's like a blog where you find all these artists. I'm also over there, so they share their artwork. If you're not signed up with ZBrush Central, I suggest you go sign up. So if you already registered with Pixel Object, which I'm sure everyone is registered, you can just visit. Just click this button over here. So it's gonna send you directly to ZBrush Central. Just sign up and then just share your artwork, and then there's people to critique over there. There's inspiration and so forth. So once you're happy with what you've done over here, you can probably share it over there. There's tons of communities you can over share. There's like I believe there's ArtStation and CG Society, I believe. I forgot the name, but then once I remember, I'm just gonna share them in the description for you guys. And then the top right button, we have upgrade to ZBrushCore. I'm sure you can basically understand what these two buttons means: upgrade to ZBrushCore and upgrade to ZBrush. Basically, when you're ready to, because there's this ZBrushCore Mini, it's missing a lot of features, and you can't do it for professional work, so then that's the kind of limit. I believe it's basically if you starting out, you're a student, you just want to start digital sculpting, you just want to start practicing and learning. So then once you know you're ready, you can just click these buttons. Depends which ZBrush you want to start with. So ZBrushCore basically is the mid-level. It's also missing some features, but then you can get away with most of the stuff. And if you browse through our channel, we've covered ZBrushCore and ZBrush tutorials. So if you're new to if you kind of confused, so there's tons of tutorials you can also follow along over there. And over here, you can kind of change the interface. Let's say you're not happy with this. If you click this button over here, it'll kind of hide some files and just change how everything's laying out. So it's entirely up to you. Next button, top right, perspective. So if you turn this off, there will not be any perspective. I don't know which is the default, because there is no option over here for settings. Probably the default is the focal length, probably it's 50. The camera angle, probably they're using the default 50, I believe, the focal length of the camera. But then you can go back and forth with any 3D software, and there's a free 3D software like Blender, where you can check your camera's perspective if it's the correct angle. So you can kind of figure out which perspective they're using. Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but in probably 50 millimeter and stuff. And then the next button at the bottom, just keep this on when you're sculpting. So y-axis, so you can rotate on the y-axis. So you can only rotate on the y-axis, but then if you click this one, yeah, you rotate on the x, y, and z axis. So if I rotate now, you can see this head moving over here. So this basically shows you where's your mesh facing. In this case, it's facing towards us, which is fine. And if you want to turn very quickly, precise, snap your angles in the correct position, you can just kind of click these arrows over here. So there's a red arrow for side views, and then there's some green one that's for top and bottom, and then the blue one is for front and back. So that's a quick way to work. And then next we have our local transformation. So if you hold on command or control, remember you can do this for all the buttons, I believe for all of them. It will kind of explain to you in much details what this does for you guys. So the local transformation button determines how resize and rotate actions are performed while editing your 3D models, your 3D tools. By default, this button unpressed resize rotates action using the Alt Option key, while in edit mode are centered upon the object's true center. So I would have this on. If you if your mesh is skew or something, but then pressing this button causes these actions to be centered upon the most recent editing point. So if you've just opened ZBrush and stuff, you can just leave this off unless you've moved something, unless something has happened. So you can just leave it as default. And then next we have the floor grid, which is a floor. I think that's self-explanatory. So basically you can see where your mesh is sitting. I don't know if you guys can see the floor grid. So that's your full floor grid, and the shortcut is Shift P. The quickest way to just turn this off. I believe for perspective is P. So So, and you must just remember to hover over, and then you can see the shortcuts where they are. So next we have frame. Basically, frame frames your object to the camera. Let's say, for instance, you somewhere far, probably you've moved your object and you kind of can't see it over here. If you click this frame button, it should frame your object back to the camera's perspective, and everything should be okay. So if you're having trouble, like you can't find your objects and stuff, you can most just click that button, and then it'll just frame the object selected to the camera. And the shortcut, I believe, is F. Let's see, yeah, it's F. So you can just press F, and then it'll just frame everything together. That's quite handy. So next we have the move. Self-explanatory. If you want to pan, so it's basically moving the object in the Z, X and Y axis. In other 3D software, I believe it's called panning. It's panning. So you're just panning the object. You're not doing any form of rotations or any zooming in and stuff. And then we have zoom in. So you can zoom in and out from your object. And then we have rotate. You can't see it over here because it's a sphere. If I like draw something, probably you can see what's happening. Sculpt like eyes, like that. You can see now that it's rotating up and down. So if you don't want to use these up, you can just click on your mouse. So left click, you can rotate. Let me just sculpt this again. You can left click on your outside the area, and then it'll kind of rotate in the X and Y axis. And then to zoom in and out, I believe for ZBrushCore Mini, hold on Alt or Option on your keyboard, left click on your mouse. So that's panning. So basically that's the move. If you move your mouse up and down in any direction you want, and if you let go of Option or Alt, and then it'll switch to the zoom in mode. It's quite tricky, but then you can kind of remember it. So just a recap: if you want to pan, you just hold on Alt or Option on your keyboard, and then left mouse click, and then you have pan option selected. And then once you have that, if you let go of Alt or Option on your keyboard, and then you've just switched to the zoom in key. And I believe I don't know what you guys are using, but if you're using, there's this nice trick you can also do, like if you want to rotate, you can also click on top of your mesh, but then not with the left mouse button, or if you kind of using a pen and stuff, you can just assign it as the right mouse button. So if you click the right mouse button, you can rotate around the object like so, which like this. And you can kind of perform these actions, but then not now you're not using the left mouse button, instead you're using the right mouse button. So if I hold on Alt and Option on my keyboard, and then the right mouse button, sorry, you can kind of pan, and then if I let go of Alt and Option, you can zoom in like so. And then lastly, on this side we have polyframe. So this basically shows you the wireframe of your 3D object. so you can kind of see the polygons and triangles going on. So you have that, and if you hover over here, you can see there's a line and there's color over here. So if I uncheck line, so you won't see lines, you only see the color. And if I uncheck this color over here, you only see lines but not the color. So that's our polyframe. I believe the shortcut is Shift F. I truly advise you guys to memorize all these shortcuts and don't go here, because it's gonna waste your entire time. Next, let's go to our brushes. I have the standard brush selected. It's just like a standard brush, so it just pulls the geometry, but then it's like it kind of smooths out the edges, so it's not rough. So this works for probably like if you're doing see like veins. So it depends like your workflow, but then it has like its own certain thingy going on. So the next brush we have the clay build-up, which I use it almost 80% of the time. So this leaves these hard edges. So this brush it's ideal for building up forms, and if you kind of starting with your mesh, like you're kind of starting with sculpting, and then everything is still rough, there's no like fine detail. So this brush, it's ideal. And then we have inflate, so it basically inflates. It's self-explanatory, so it inflates the geometry, so these vertices and stuff, and then barges them out. And then we have the pinch brush. So if let me grab the standard brush. So if I want to pinch, even the name is self-explanatory. So if I use pinch, it brings those vertices closer together. If I show you the wireframe, you can kind of see it's bringing those vertices close together. So the Sculptures Pro here, I believe, by default. And then there's the move brush, self-explanatory. You can just move your points, your vertices in any direction. And then we have a snake hook brush. It's basically like the move brush, but then the hard one. So you can create like these kind of things like tails, ears. Like if you're doing creatures and stuff, this can move your geometry a lot. So if you wanna do that, you can use the snake hook brush, and then a slash brush, self-explanatory. You can see it's carving on your mesh, and in this case, this my draw size, it's very too big. So if you hold on S on your keyboard, you can reduce the draw size. So hold on S and then just move and drag just to decrease your draw size, and then you can kind of see now we're carving. So you can add these details. So if you're familiar with ZBrushCore or ZBrush, this brush over here basically substitutes, because there's no Demian standard here, I believe. So that's why we have this brush. And then next we have H polish. This is like if you want to do like a flat surface, so this is great for hard surface modeling. But it can work, it depends which design you want to do. So if I grab H polish now, you'll see it will make, as you can see, it's making this straight, like flat, like so. And then you can see that, and then you can change the color of the object over here. I don't know if you can paint that out. So you just preview your object in any color. It's entirely up to you. And then we have your material. There's matte cap gray, the default, which is very nice, and then red wax, which if a material looks nice for you, you can just use that. And then there's basic material. I don't know why there's basic material if you can't control the light also. And then there's toy plastic, like if you're doing toys. This is just a basic preview how your object is gonna look, and then the skin shader for if you're doing like characters or like a face or anything. There's gold if you're doing jewelry, and then flat color if you just want to look at the silhouette, and then the silver fall. Depends what you're working on, but I normally work with matte cap gray for a long time, and then that's that. So that's basically the walkthrough of the interface. Then that's that. But then if you don't understand, you can hit you can give me a shout in the comment section, and I'll be available to assist you guys over there where I can. And let's jump into sculpting. Okay, let's jump into it. Now we know how everything works, so just a quick recap on your shortcuts. S on your keyboard, you increase the draw size, and then U on your keyboard, you increase the intensity of your brush selected. Just a quick recap. So I'm going to grab my move brush, click on S, increase that. I'm going to drag it. Let's see what we're creating. Just make this smaller. Just going to make this smaller like so. Just going to drag it like so. Smooth that out. So if you hold on shift on your keyboard, you can basically smooth out your geometry. That's a shortcut. I don't believe there's a smooth brush over here, so you can just use this to your advantage. And let's see what we're making today. So I'm just gonna move my move brush, and then just moving that into place. I'm honestly gonna turn off symmetry just now, because we're not gonna be working with symmetry. I'm just keeping this for this stage. So this is basically blocking out. So we're doing a flexed arm and the unanimous study, the upper limb, and then I'm just gonna drag this into place. You can probably increase the see. Okay, cool. So what I will do, I'm grab all these back faces, yeah. So this is something you need to be careful of. Just I'm gonna come and build that with the clay build up now. So let's see. Just gonna increase my brightness of the monitor. It's a bit too dark here, and then just building up those forms. It's not grabbing the other side. Just gonna smooth that out a tad. So when you start sculpting, so it kind of adds that geometry. Grab a move brush, create a first layer for us. You can grab the inflate brush, probably will work for us. The move brush, and then you can kind of have this going on for us. And if I grab the clay build-up, you can just add polygons over there. So like if you need like more geometry, you can just start sculpting and then it will add geometry for you. Just decrease the brush size before you pull the faces facing the other side. So holding down shift on your keyboard, you can just smooth out where just cleaning that up. You can see it. So I have wireframe option selected, so I can see the polygons and my points. It's quite handy. And then just coming in and smoothing that out. So we're not too focused about the proportions as yet. We're just building up our forms first, and then we'll take it from there. And then I'll just grab the move brush, just move that or deltoid muscle. So once we have that, I'll grab my clay board up again, just building up those forms ever so slightly, and just turning around. So I'm using those shortcuts I showed you guys. So in this case, you want to turn off symmetry now. Let's see first. Let me first open this up, grab a move brush before we turn off symmetry. So like once you're happy with your forms, and then it's always a good idea to turn off symmetry. And the form is not symmetrical. So cool. I'm gonna turn off symmetry just now. Just wanna see, just balancing that out. That's sweet. So turn off symmetry, I believe it's X. Yeah, shortcut is X. So click this on keyboard, you can turn this on and off. And then I'm gonna hide Shift F to hide our polyframes. I'm gonna start now. Let me just start with the forms first. I'm just gonna come and building this up just a tad. It's kind of bugging me. So basically we're doing a flexed arm. So this should be our deltoids, our biceps brachii, and then our forearm muscles. So let's start with let's grab our slash 3 just to draw those sketches as we normally do. Like if you've been on our channel, there's tons of tutorials showing our technique to how to sculpt an enemy in ZBrush the easy way. It kind of takes time, but then it's the most precise way we do it there. Just kind of wish I had shortcut. Just gonna add more geometry, yeah. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go back to my /3. So we have a deltoid. You turn up the intensity if you want to. So the deltoid, there's a deltoid tuberosity somewhere over here. So you can kind of show it over here where it inserts and originates. Origin and insertions. Deltoid muscle. So it's divided into 3 parts. Grab my There's anterior head, I believe, which is the one I'm trying to build there. Just coming with the clay builder. Just look at the geometry. That's a bit too dense. Processing polysphere, please wait. So you can see over here it's reading the cozy file, so it's processing that way. Selection, I think it's done now. Doing this. I wasn't planning on smoothing it out. So it's adding a lot of geometry. As you can see, we're on 146 points now. So deltoid muscle, general, it's not too bad. So depending on your system can lag in any time. You may just be too careful when you're working with these subdivisions. The resolution actually, because there's no subdivisions. You may just to be too careful with that. So we have our deltoid muscle. And underneath that we have the triceps. I'm just gonna grab my slasher. Just gonna come in the triceps. Tri has 3 heads, so it inserts at the alacronon of the ulna. I'm just taking that very harsh. And then we have our brachialis. It's basically underneath the bicep muscle. This one here. So grabbing the grab the style on the intensity. And then it's a bit too harsh. Let's see what polygons I have here. You just come in with your shift just to reduce those polygons. So there's brachialis, it's gonna kind of bulge out at the bottom. And then our triceps, those are gonna bulge because it's flexing these muscles, kind of bulges out, but not too much. So if this is active, this is not that active. It's kind of relaxed, and vice versa. So depends if you're flexing or extending the arm. You can kind of see it from there. And then just coming in with the clay buildup. Just building that up. Still rough. And then see. Trash, deltoid. You know, skin, yeah, it's gonna kind of stretch, so you need to be able to emphasize that. And then we have our biceps brachii. You can see. Over here. So like to some people, you can basically see it when it splits. When it splits there on top. I don't know if you guys can see over here. When it splits over here, you can basically see it. Just gonna drag this to the side. So it depends which reference you have, but you can almost see it over there. So ZBrushCore can't handle a lot of polygons. What I'm going to do is just going to reduce back to 100. We have a lot now. Just wait for it. It's processing, as you can see over here. See over here on top, 85%. So it's basically reducing our polygon count. As you can see, it just changed to 150 points. Let me see, yeah, I think that's better. And then so there's a lot of muscles over here. I'm just gonna fly through them. We have like a course specifically on the forearm muscles. The link will be in the description for you guys to check it out, where we go through each of them. So just gonna fly through them. The brachioradialis, and then extensor carpi radialis longus, extensor carpi radialis brevis. So yeah. Then our did I say extensor? Yeah. Flexor carpi radialis longus. Just gonna use this. And then over here we have the olecranon. I'm just gonna grab my, just gonna emphasize that a tad. Not the olecranon. Olecranon is over here, so the elbow. And then we have our medial epicondyle. And then let me just draw that. I think the sketching it's creating a lot of polygons, so probably ditch it now. Let me just reduce it first. So I'm just gonna build up the forms, because there's the slash 3 brush, it's creating a lot of points for us and it's making our geometry much dense. Essentially what we're going to do, we're just going to build up those forms, paying attention to each muscle over there that are quite visible. So the good way to remember these muscles over here are flexors, and these muscles on this side are extensors. That's an easy trick there. So let's come in. Let me see. Okay. Then I'm going to come in by anterior head, the deltoid. And then our pectoralis major. Deltoid anterior head on top. Just gonna come and building that up. So it kind of twists. So I'm just gonna emphasize that, and then you gonna have like a space here going on. And then remember we have our brachialis underneath, and then our coracobrachialis. So it originates from the coracoid process of the scapula. And then we have our trapezius muscles underneath, more distally. And then we have that. I'm just putting up these forms very rough at this stage, but I hope you guys have an idea. Let's see where we're at. So, just making sure, just checking all views and not being too stuck with just one view. So that's very important also. So I'm going to grab my ZBrush. That's a good time to pay attention to the forms now. That. So you must kind of be careful with your brush size, because it can kind of determine also the amount of geometry you apply to your mesh. So just have that in mind also when you're doing this. So smooth this out now. brachioradialis muscle. Just gonna come and emphasize that. Then our deltoids, just gonna come in and building those up a tad. You can kind of see like the separation. So if I grab a move brush and show how is that gonna lay out. And we're just gonna do the first very rough. I'm gonna grab my clay builder brush. Just gonna come in. And then gotta do this. So there's this like band tying the forearm muscles, which comes from the biceps, like this tendon. It kind of wraps these muscles together. So I'm just going to come in and emphasize that. And then our biceps. Just building that up. Just check it our angle now. So I'm gonna grab the move brush, fix our proportions. So this can take some time because it's asymmetrical, so it can take some time. Then we're just gonna come in this side. Now what's bugging me now is the fist. So put it up. Smooth that. we have a lot of geometry now. What you can do again, just go to load, just reducing our polygons to 150k points, and then we're good to go. So we have like 1 minute or so. Let me see. Yeah, still like 30 minutes, and then 10 minutes, and then we'll call it a day. This can sometimes take a lot of time, but then like depending on your system and how much of polygons you have on your mesh currently. I had like 300, almost 400,000 polygons, so that's why it's taking this long. Let's just wait for that, and then we continue with that. Should have paused the video anyway, but it's almost done now. Then computing good way, and then yeah, and that's about it. Let's do our first and then call it a day. So it's done. Just making sure it's not too bulky. Okay, cool. And then we'll just fix our first over there. Moving that into place. Okay, this is the last bit. Increase my intensity very high. I don't want to dig in here. Let's see. Look at the topology we have here. If we have our knuckles on top, I'm just gonna build that up. Let's see. Sorry if the playback is quite laggy on your side also. It's kind of laggy on this side also, so come in with that. Just showing a basic idea of everything, how it will look. So we're not going to go into details or anything. And then I'll grab my clay butter brush again. gonna fill that up. I think right now it's the best time to reduce our polygons again, because if you can see on top, we almost reaching 1 million polygons on our mesh, and that's not ideal at this stage. Just gonna decrease the intensity. Then just gonna take that out. So holding down Alt option, you can reverse. So if you're adding, you can just hold on Option or Alt, and then you can just dig in there. That's what I normally do. I doubt there's a button over here. I didn't see it. Oh yeah, thought there is. So we didn't go through that. This just came into my mind just now. So you have that. Reduce it again, and then we'll just wait for it, and then call it a day. So we're almost done. I hope you guys grab something out of this. So if you're starting out with everything, I think this software it's quite good for beginners, like, because you don't need to worry about any fine details or any texturing or anything. It's just the forms, just understanding the anatomy. If you're doing like characters or creatures, I don't know what kind of field you're going for, but it's basically just starting out sculpting. It's nothing too serious. I don't know for hard surfacing how it will work out, but then I see there's a sphere going on here, and there's H polish, so you can come up with something. It's possible. Let's just wait for reducing these polygons, which is it was a lot, so that's why it's taking time. It's taking a lot of time. So once we have this, it's basically just moving just looking at our reference and making sure our proportions is correct, which that's very important also. So convenient, please wait. This is taking forever. Let's just give it some time, and then yeah, we're almost there. Let's see. Yeah, we're back on. So I'm just gonna refine this, and then probably call it there. Just gonna leave this here for now. Just gonna grab my move brush, and then just gonna fix my knuckles over there. just knowing the anatomy, that you can kind of see when everything is going wrong. So the ulnar bone, and then this has to bulge out up here. And then I'm just going to move that. And then our lacrynon. Can't believe I forgot about that. It's way too harsh. Which is our elbow. Just gonna come building that up, just getting out of van. So it like ever so slightly, and then what we're gonna do, just gonna grab a mood brush again. If only there was mood topological, which I can't see it from here. Probably there is, I doubt. So that's just fixing those forms, and then call it a day. So yeah, just dragging that up a tad, just making sure everything is correct. It's a basic fist, nothing too crazy. And then yeah, we'll leave this for now. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, it's Adrian here from ZBrushCore, and I'll see you guys on the next one.